tuned into the Story Behind the Business podcast. My name is Leland. I'm here with my co-hosts Joe McDonald and Adam Vesey, and this is once again brought to you by Agency Media and the Westland Group of Companies.
And our guest today, we're going all the way across the pond to the UK. He's the co-founder of a company called Fat Joe. We have Joe Taylor as our guest. Good afternoon and probably good evening for you in England. Welcome, Joe.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Nice to meet you.
Maybe
Awesome.
You could just, for our viewers over here, you could just tell us a little bit about what is Fat Joe? What do you guys do?
So essentially, Fat Joe is a link building and content creation platform for SEO agencies and digital agencies. And we provide productized services that help agencies deliver effective SEO campaigns for their clients.
So you're essentially like a product that we as an agency would use. How did you come up with that? And like, why wouldn't an agency just do it themselves for our non-agency folks listening to this podcast?
So if we, if we rewind back to 2012, myself and my other co-founder, Joe Davies, actually worked at an SEO agency together. And at the time we were having scale issues when we were trying to grow the agency, taking on clients, trying to deliver and fulfill the obligations that we sold, or the strategies that we sold those clients. And essentially, at the time, we needed some reliable partners to deliver us some consistent content writing, blog writing for our clients, and then a partner that could obtain links for our clients. And essentially, with every SEO campaign today, there's two main ingredients, and that is content and links. And the reason why an SEO agency would outsource to a company like ourselves is because it's difficult to scale in-house. For example, you may only have one fashion client, for example. So all of the efforts that you go through, the marketing that you go through, reaching out to potential link prospects and that kind of thing, all the knowledge you gain on the fashion side of the industry, you're only utilizing that on that one client. Whereas a company like ourselves, we have the ability to scale up that, and we can then serve our services to agencies who have got hundreds of fashion clients, and we can reach into the blogosphere for the fashion industry, for example, get access to that, build huge relationships with multiple bloggers, and have access to publish content with them or collaborate with them for the benefit of agencies' clients.
Very cool. I want to back up a little bit, and this will be a quicker part of the discussion, but you got to talk about the name, of course. I've been drawn to your guys' social content for some time, and I think that's where I originally reached out. When I was in a previous life, when I was touring Germany and Austria doing hip hop, I claimed being Fat Joe's cousin. So that's my initial draw. I love Fat Joe, his music. And then I saw the name. And then you guys have branding like Mo Links, Mo Problems with Biggie Smalls. So obviously I'm attracted to the brand. How did you come up with the name? You mentioned your co-founder is Joe as well. So can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Yeah. So see, with us, the name initially wasn't a focus point in business. So today, most people will get et up about the brand name of their company they want to start. They'll come up with an idea of starting a company, and they'll spend so much time bogged down on coming up with a name for that company. Essentially, all we did was we got some inspiration off gangster mob names. And there was a few gangster mob names that came up in America and Italy, of Fat Tony and Fat Joey. And we literally just clicked on, we're both called Joe, let's call ourselves Fat Joe. At the time, we weren't consciously aware of the rapper Fat Joe. Now, for us, the name at that time...
What?
Well,
continue.
We didn't at the time, and or we weren't consciously aware. Obviously, when someone plays a song to you of like "What's Love," you soon go, "Oh no, what have we done here?" But for us, it was important to prove the concept of what we were trying to do. So as we come up with that name, we just sort of registered the domain name and just ran with it. And we wanted to prove first that there was demand for what we were going to do, because we started back in 2012, a long time ago for the market now, where there's lots of other companies like ourselves. And so we were focused on proving concept. So that's how the name came about. And yeah, obviously we've got this name that's used by the rapper, which, forgive me, I don't know his real name. And we've actually had a bit of social banter between us, and we actually emailed out to him the once to try and hire Fat Joe for some of our marketing conferences, and they were well up for discussing that. So at the time we couldn't afford it, but I think it'll be a missed opportunity if we don't do something like that.
Let me know when that happens, because I'm there. I'll fly to England for that. Regardless of where it is.
Let's go PubCon Vegas.
There you go. I'm not sure how I feel about the name, to be honest with you, because we got a note in our Slack channel and it said, we're talking to Fat Joe, and I'm Joel, and I just glanced at it and I was like, hey, that's not very nice. We all gained a few during COVID, but I mean, come on. But just wanted to ask you, on your website, Joe, you talk a lot about link building, and during our podcast, we have a lot of business owners that might not necessarily be in marketing. Describe what is link building and why that is so important for your process. Okay,
so right back to when hyperlinks, existed, and Google came out with their search engine. The whole web infrastructure is organized by hyperlinks and web URLs. So it's links and hyperlinks back to other websites has been a fundamental part of Google's algorithms for many, many years now. And essentially, having a link from another website that mentions your website is considered a vote of popularity. Just as if you were going out there and you were going to win an election, you need to shake a lot of hands to gain the trust of people. And essentially, search engines use these links as kind of trust signals to understand how popular a website or resource is. Since SEO began way back when, Google have been using links within their algorithm, and right through to today. Google still use links, and it is there's multiple studies out there which show there's a huge correlation in not only the numbers of links you get, but the quality of links that you get from other websites. So there's two fundamental parts of SEO. That's content and links, and that's exactly the two things we do.
So just curious, you're based in the UK, and I gather from your website that you have clients that are around the world. What are some of the difference in maybe there aren't any, between SEO in, say, England to SEO in the United States?
This is a very popular discussion, actually. Back in 2012, we were focusing on the UK market. And naturally, we got a lot of inquiries from US customers. When we launched our platform, our dashboard essentially for clients back in 2014, there was a huge influx of American agencies signing up. And today, agencies in America make up 70% of Fat Joe's business. Next proportion of the market is the UK, then Australia, and those are our most popular regions. And essentially, I know this because I have all the data from our platform, but American clients have much, much higher average order values and average monthly spends compared to our UK clients. And that's similar with Australia. And that's about 4 times. So American and Australian agencies will generally spend around 4 times more than UK agencies right now.
I mean, so when you and your partner left an SEO agency beforehand, what got you thinking, well, let's provide a service for other agencies? And then when you started to think about that, how to go global? And I mean, for those of our listeners who don't understand the marketing space, to sell to another marketing company isn't necessarily an easy thing to do. We're all very skeptical. We know all the tips and tricks that you should be running in terms of ruining a platform. So what kind of challenges did you and the other Joe face when building out your organization, and then, you know, tactically figuring out how do you build your brand online to kind of get guys like Leland to reach out and engage?
So, as it started back in the UK, we focused on the UK market quite heavily, and we gained a lot of agencies' trust. Essentially, the services that we do are pretty transparent, because when you purchase something, you get that physical product back that you can view and scrutinize. And if you're not happy with that, we will give you your money back, no questions asked. We have a bright, broad guarantee on our website that says so, and we've done that for 2 years. So really the proof is in the pudding. We've essentially productized our services, so that we'll go through the process of creating that content, or, you know, managing the writers, managing our link builders, our outreach process. We'll do all of the hard work for you, and you're essentially purchasing this product and you get it back and scrutinize it. So we gain the trust initially because we're very clear on what it is you're going to get. We're very clear and open up front on the price, and we even package up our services into different tiers for you, so that we've got options for agencies or clients who may have low budgets, right the way up to agencies and clients who want the really high quality stuff and have higher budgets. So it's really transparent with what you're ordering and what you're going to get, and you can, as I say, you get to see the product in the end, so you can scrutinize that and, you know, get that cancelled and request a refund if you want to. So I think this day and age, it's you know, quite easy for an agency to test products, and most agencies won't necessarily test directly on a client. They might have a number of test sites, as we do at Fat Joe, and we work on constantly. So yeah, that's how we do it basically.
Question about content specifically, and we talk about that a lot when we're working through strategies with clients. Is, you know, the necessity of building out an ongoing content strategy to make sure that you're ranking for keywords. One of the biggest things that I've run into and we've run into is that, you know, the search terms and things like that, looking at the data, don't always align with branding of a company. How do you work through that process? Like, because you're white labeling to agencies, are the agencies handling that discussion with the client?
Yeah.
Or how does that discovery work?
So we don't really do any of the strategy for SEO agencies. Guys are the experts. They're coming up with the strategies for their clients on exactly what they want. So the agency feels very much in control of the entire campaign, because they will onboard the client. They will do all of the keyword research for that client. They will make any technical changes that need to happen to the website. And essentially, we're there as a platform to offer the support and the labor required to produce web content, blog content, or then right the way through to building local citation directories, through to press releases, right the way through to acquiring links for those clients for popularity. So the agencies will handle the entire strategy, and that's where Fat Joe is a little bit different from maybe some of our competitors, because we don't tread on our agency's toes. We're not going after their clients. We're there to support agencies, and our whole entire platform is geared towards allowing agencies to order in bulk and make it super easy for them to place, manage, and track all of their orders in one place.
I'm curious, Joe, obviously it's a crazy time in the world right now. What you've noticed as a difference in SEO and sort of some of the things you're doing, and what are some things that are working and businesses should be doing right now that you're seeing?
So initially there was clearly a huge drop or decline when lockdown started happening in all of the countries. And I think everyone went into a little bit of panic mode. Everyone thought they needed to kind of send a COVID email, explain what they were doing. Essentially, when we look at our clients, our revenue, our business, and what happened, we didn't grow during the first month period of when the lockdown happened. So that was kind of, I think that was sort of mid March, and right the way to the first week in April. Then what we saw was the agencies that maybe had a lot of travel and hospitality clients. They never placed a reorder for some of our services, essentially because that whole industry kind of just shut down.
Right.
However, interestingly, then what happened in April after the first week for us, it went insanely busy, but insanely busy on some products that we may necessarily not normally get busy on. So we were hugely, we had a huge influx of content orders. We had a huge influx of local citation directory orders, and a huge influx of press releases. And this, I guess, was a knee-jerk reaction from businesses starting to then focus fundamentals and the basics about taking their business online or on the internet. So I guess we only feel what the agencies feel because you know, most of our clients are agencies. But diving into the data, that you know, tends to seem to be what happened. And then right the way through to today, fortunately for us, we haven't been affected. We've been going at full chat, so we would say, in the UK. And the digital industry, while it's a little bit muddy for, you know, retail and hospitality clients, here in the UK, I'm not sure about where you guys are, all of the lockdowns have really eased off now. And even the hospitality industry is starting to slowly open with static caravan sites, for example, opening up. Mobile home sites, motorhome, camping sites are all starting to open up. I think the pubs and the restaurants have just been announced that they're opening up within the next few weeks. So it's really starting to ramp up. And I think the digital industry has got some very interesting times and perhaps growth ahead in the short, 12 to 18 month period.
Yeah, I was going to say we're in British Columbia, so we're up in Canada. We're like one of the least affected areas. So we haven't seen COVID hit as bad as it has been in some areas. I feel like we're on easy street up here.
I'm definitely stealing full chat though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question though, just to continue that that thought there is, do you think that businesses have realized that, a use case scenario that I've seen and heard has been, we've adapted and we're now doing, pickup or whatever, but customers can't find us on Google, or they're not, like, when potential customers are searching, where can I order food from right now, we're not showing up. So do you think that, obviously SEO, it's not something that's instant. There are things you can get low-hanging fruit to get some quick wins, but do you think that this put a severe focus on SEO for businesses where they're now like, okay, I get it, I understand the importance of it?
Absolutely. The thing that's going to happen here is businesses, initially they've shifted to social networks as a really short-term, quick solution of trying to figure out how they can package up their products, deliver it out to the consumers and keep their business turning. So I've noticed, I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed particularly in our areas that cake shops have started baking, selling and delivering cakes. So they've been selling them on their social media website. You've got local breweries, beer companies, craft beers, packaging up their craft beers and offering a next day delivery service with UPS and DPD. And a lot of these businesses have quickly adapted, jumped onto social media, and you start seeing a lot of ads. Now, for those guys to sustain that model moving forward, they will need a website, a web shop, or an e-com platform. And so what they're going to move into next is we need a website. They're going to be reaching out to the web designers. Can you build me a website? We need these products uploading. They're going to go through that motion. They're going to have this website. And then they're going to be questioning, okay, so how do we get traffic? And that's where the demand for SEO, I think, is starting to come in now, and that's going to really grow over the next 12 to 18 months. And I mean, if you look at something we like to use at FatJoe, me particularly, is I like to use Google Trends, or a tool actually by Brian Dean from Backlinko. He's got a website called Exploding Topics. So if you guys go and have a look at that, you can type in different topics and see what the trend's like. And I think that's a little bit more real-time data compared to Google Trends. But if you just go into Google Trends, you look at home desks or home office or SEO, digital marketing, website design, just look at those topics rising and you can see what is coming for the digital industry.
I hope that the people that are watching this podcast or listening to the podcast actually watch it, because I find this amazing that you're sitting in the middle of England and we're on the west coast of British Columbia. It's perfectly clear in like high definition. It's pretty cool. So you mentioned that your team hasn't really slowed down, Joe. How have you guys managed? I mean, are you normally working remotely, or did you have to try and you mentioned kind of some Google Talks at the beginning, I think before we started recording. So how's your team doing over at FatJoe?
So to give you a scope of FatJoe, we're a team of about 130 people. So that's probably a lot bigger than you thought. So most of our team are already based remote. We have actually, that's made up of almost 100 full-time writers. And those guys are all based remote, some in the UK and some in America. We also then have a team in the Philippines. And those guys essentially our initial outreach team. And we then have a central support team. We've got an office in Staffordshire, and there's about 15 of us there. And that consists of myself, Joe, our finance lady, our support team, and our development team. And we've got 5 developers as well. So it wasn't really a challenge for us because most of our business is already remote and freelance. But what we've actually done is, so our core team of 15 in the office, we all moved to, home working, remote working. And we've actually now adopted a remote flexi work lifestyle for our team. So we've essentially moved away from the Monday to Friday 9 till 5 norm. We've allowed everyone has an hourly contract, and we've basically just said you can work whatever hours you want, apart from our support team within reason, because they need to support specific hours for our customer support. But everyone kind of works their own hours now across a 7-day period, and it's really working out quite well. I actually feel the team is potentially a lot more productive because they may not be fighting the day-to-day distractions that you would have in the office when someone may have an idea and they instantly communicate that to the office and everyone stops working and forgets what they're doing and has a discussion. Whilst that can be, a creative period, we've kind of changed that up. So we have, a creative time period now in remote. Mm-hmm. So it's not distracting from our work. So I do feel that actually this has been really beneficial for us to kind of reset and assess and really embrace remote flexible working for our entire company, as opposed to just our, freelance support guys.
Very cool.
Joe, just wanted to, before we wrap it up here, just say thanks for taking the time to give some insight into how you've built your business. And definitely wasn't expecting you to have that amount of employees on staff, especially during the downturn. But it makes sense. You didn't slow down. So major kudos to you and your partner for growing your team.
Thank you.
We'll have all the links in our descriptions on how people can check out your site. The one thing I wanted to mention was you have a lot of information on your website about how to title description for blogs. A lot of your content that you're writing under your academy section is for agencies to learn what they should be doing as best practices in terms of getting stronger SEO or stronger positioning. How valuable would that be for just a regular brand or business who isn't working, who are not working with an agency at the moment, like building one, content on your own site for free to attract people. But in terms of like the content that you have on there, is it applicable for non-agency customers to take a look at that area? I think, you guys have done an incredible job. So just want to give that.
Thanks for that. And thanks for bringing that Academy page up. Actually, that was only started 2 weeks ago. And our Academy page is what we are now focusing on. Is we're going to break up the content that we deliver into essentially a beginner side of SEO, so we can help people understand the basics and the fundamentals of SEO, building out a website and marketing a website. And then we are separating a category that is purely for agencies. We've got great content coming up for agencies on how to scale their agency, how to attract clients, different ways agencies are pricing their services, how to gain more value through your services as opposed to selling your time. We've got a really good product plan, and actually on Monday we've made a big hire of a head of creative and marketing person that is going to take our written content and video content really to the next level for Fat Joe. So watch that space on the Academy page, because we're going to really focus on things that we can do and our knowledge and expertise over the years to help agencies scale and grow.
Fantastic. Joe, thank you so much for being on here. And if you have listened to this point of the podcast and you're not already subscribed or a fan of it, what are you even doing? Like, get on with it.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends.
Anymore.
Excellent. That's us for this week's edition of Story Behind the Business. Have a nice one, y'all.
Thank you, Joe.